Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesday. How's it going?
Hey, it's Wednesday.
What's up, patrons? How are you?
Patrons and non-patrons, but become a patron.
Famous people are dropping like flies.
So we've lost two famous 80-year-olds in the last couple of days,
Today
but not
sucks.
the right one.
Not,
Not the right one.
Steve. We don't want to be put on a list.
Dolly
yet.
Parton and Tim Curry.
Yeah, Tim Curry was great.
Ah.
They both were fantastic. Dolly Parton
probably
wrote.
the
She was
best.
one of those singer-songwriters
was
who
amazing.
wrote a lot of songs
That you don't even realize
that you
she
don't
wrote,
know she
right?
wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one that blew my mind was
Whitney Houston's.
"I Want to Dance with Somebody."
Oh, yeah, that
She
was
wrote that the same day she wrote Jolene.
What a day! What a day!
I know. That could have. That's a career right there. You know,
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
those two songs for crying out loud.
That's nuts.
It says Dolly has over 3,000 songs.
What?
3,000.
I Will Always Love You is probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Coat of Many Colors, 9 to 5, of course. Come on. Jolene, Two Doors Down, Blue Smoke, Put It Off Until
I
Tomorrow.
think the most surprising one was Crazy Train. You guys ever hear
Yeah. Oh
that?
yeah.
Not a lot of people know that.
Not a lot of people know that.
Yeah,
I told Liz.
for Cannibal Corpse music.
we're gonna watch 9 to 5. There's some good. There's some
That
good,
movie was
yeah.
fun.
good stars in that
That's a
movie, and
fun
I'm sure it
movie.
But
holds.
now we have to watch Clue as well.
Yeah.
Clue.
Well, lots of other
there's
stuff.
there's lots of options with Tim Curry.
Well, Clue is one of the. Come on.
Clue,
it's one of the
Clue
best.
is great.
I loved Clue. Oh, I switched it.
So much.
How come when you're about to
Flames.
sneeze, sometimes when you're about to sneeze, you
Yeah.
get stuck in the sneeze?
Yeah.
You're just like, "Ah," like what the hell is
look,
that?
Look at.
You have to get to the threshold, the sneeze threshold.
But what is that? Is that like muscles tensing or what's going on? Like what's happening, Steve?
It's a reflex, and there's a threshold for firing the reflex. You can get close to it, but not get. It's like an orgasm. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
For me,
Hello.
For me, when I when I want to
right,
force it, I look at a light. Now that doesn't work on everybody. Some
Yeah.
people though, looking at a
Have
bright,
photosensitive
Yeah,
sneezing.
right.
I have that.
Yeah, we all have that. It's a genetic thing.
but
What?
Mom used to tell me for a long time. She's like, "Oh, you're sneezing because you're cold or something." I'm like, "Mom,
Rocky
it's
Horror,
not
yes.
because you're cold. It doesn't work. This isn't cartoon
Yeah.
medicine." But then I looked it up. There are some people that react to cold by sneezing.
Cold-induced sneezing?
Yep, I was shocked.
We
I
should
was
kill
shocked.
all of those people.
So that was interesting. So like, it was one of those rare cases. Like, Mom, we're both right.
Well, she gets her evidence and information in her lifetime, and in her generation, it was all
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Here,
Yeah, word of
nonsense.
mouth,
At least-
movies, TV.
Yeah.
Just absorbing it from the culture.
Anyway, today is
Yes, what is today?
Wednesday, the 26th of 2026. And is there music playing? It is very quiet. Okay, today, yep, goodbye Dolly and Tim Curry. I wrote that after. I couldn't think of a good pun with that. Glyphosate is back in the news. We'll talk about that maybe. Some measles deaths, unfortunately. Is it still true? I found a website that might be an interesting one to look at. And there's some other weird topics to discuss. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, where are we going to do the that flat Earth?
Oh yeah, we'll do the flat Earth ding dong.
And Ian's little girl, his youngest daughter, started school today.
She did start school. I know. She's first grade.
Did you take pictures and everything?
Of course, yeah. We took pictures everywhere, and then we lead her into the class, and she's like, "Okay, bye." She's like so used to.
She's gonna love
leaving.
it, man.
Yeah, I know. It was pretty awesome. Here's a video. Somebody posted this or sent it to me of Tim Curry. Maybe we could do this one. It's from like a video game, I think. I don't know if you guys have ever seen
a video
this one.
game.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
I think it's a video game.
Space!
It's just the craziest video.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
He's great.
Yeah,
If
I forget what video that video game is from. Isn't it from a video game chat? Somebody sent it.
If you want a real treat, not just watching videos of Tim Curry, listen to him narrate a short story, a novel, whatever. Anything he narrates, of course, is gold. It's Tim Curry.
Yeah.
So highly recommend it. Find anything that he narrates. And it was one. I listened to A Christmas Carol narrated by him. I listened
Command
to
and Conquer. That's what it was.
I listened to some Stephen
Thank you,
King
Chet.
short stories narrated by him. He was as you would imagine, he was a master
Yep.
of narration. Amazing.
Oh, yeah, he was epic. Obviously, Rocky Horror Picture.
Yeah.
Red Alert, Command and Conquer. That was the video game. It was so ridiculous.
And Dolly Parton was the full package.
Oh yeah.
She could sing, she can act, she could dance. She had
Right. I mean, could she
everything.
dance? I mean, I never can't
Yeah.
imagine.
Well, yeah. She was an entertainer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She was
And
all of
her
things.
generosity was off the hook. I mean,
Yeah.
in COVID, she donated $1 million to one of the research facilities that actually helped create the Moderna vaccine. She over her life donated money, helped people.
The books for kids thing.
Oh my God! Yeah, right. It's like 1 million books. 1 million books. Just amazingly generous and such a frustrating loss.
Yep, we all end up in the same place.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to some weird science stuff that's happening.
science? Oh my
I guess
God,
let's do this ding dong to begin with. Just a classic.
This
Classic.
fucking guy.
Oh my
classic
God.
This fucking guy segment. Let's see what corporate Tarzan.
You can just tell what we're going to get just from the opening frame here.
Yeah, he
right?
got a haircut though. I think he had a crazier locks before or whatever. But let's check him out. Oh, maybe it's better on mute actually.
And then take a picture. So this guy decided to take his camera and then take a picture of the sun at the exact same time every single day for 3 years. And this is what happened. It created something called the solar analemma, where let's say you go outside at high noon, every single day, high noon in your relative location. The sun will be in a slightly different position in the sky because it is slowly traversing between the tropics and the equator. And this is how you have the seasons. This is why it's currently winter here in Bali, because the sun is in the Tropic of Cancer. It is not over the Tropic of Capricorn. And we are being told that the Earth is moving around the sun at 66,000 miles per hour, and its fashion of orbit is actually insane. It's not even predictable. And this tiny little wobble right here is what is causing the seasons and what is causing the sun to appear to traverse in the sky and in between the tropics and the equator. But if the sun is 93 million miles away, do you really think that tiny little deviation, that tiny little wobble would cause the change in seasons?
Pause it.
That makes
All right.
It's not a
All right, so
wobble.
I-
All right, here we go.
First of
He's
all,
confusing
The
the precession of the
equinoxes.
equinoxes with the seasonal changes.
I got to say something.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of what you think and what your opinion is perfectly meaningless. You're not a meteorologist. You're not studying the universe. You
Not
don't
a
know shit.
scientist.
You're not a scientist. You're not
science
studying
communicator.
planets. You're not studying orbital mechanics. You don't know a fucking thing about what you're talking about, fucker, right? And on top of that, like, the idea of go do your own research and come to your own conclusions is bullshit. That's largely bullshit when it comes to science. You listen to what the experts in the field are saying.
Well, your research is
What the
figuring out
experts
what
in
the
the-
experts are saying,
Exactly,
right? That's
exactly.
your
the
goal.
the real experts. First, you got to identify the real experts, right? That's like step one.
Right. So, but yeah, somebody like him, some combination of thinking that he's smarter than all the scientists in the world, or it's all a giant conspiracy. They're all in on a conspiracy, right? But again, it's part of like thinking you're smarter than everybody else. All right, so but what he's saying is wrong on so many levels. First of all, that video, that was the precession of the equinoxes. One of those rotations takes what, 12,
12
thousands
of years.
20-something thousand years.
I think it's around there.
The seasons are caused by, obviously you have the tilt in the axis, and when the Earth goes around the sun, in the summer, the sun is beating more straight down on your hemisphere, and in the winter, it's beating at an angle. So he says, like, how could that make a difference when the sun's 96 million miles away?
It doesn't matter.
Say, all right, so are you saying that there's no temperature difference when the sun is at noon and at dawn and sunset? That's also just an angle change.
Right.
Yeah.
The sun is still the same distance away, but there's a huge temperature difference. How is that the case if that doesn't make any difference?
It's energy per unit area. I mean,
Yes.
either if it's direct, it's more energy per unit area. If it's spread out, it's much more energy.
You guys
for the
are
same-
not. You're not factoring in the ice giants. when the angle of the sun is a little
cooling.
different, they walk south and it gets colder. Don't you understand?
Now, the other thing is
Cold comes from Necron.
he's trying to say that the analemma is due to the fact that the sun is moving between the Capricorn and Cancer, the tropics.
Right.
But the astronomers have calculated exactly what's causing the analemma.
Yep.
And it's not just this vague notion that the sun's moving and that's why it's changing. And you can explain every aspect of the analemma based upon different precise aspects. I mean, to multiple decimal points of the Earth's orbit around the sun
Right. So the extent, the height of the analemma is from the tilt.
is the tilt.
Right. The width of it is from the
Eccentricity in the orbit.
because it's not a circular orbit,
right?
right? So if you go to another planet, if it's a circular orbit and there's no axial tilt, it would be, the analemma would be a dot.
It'd
It would
be
be
a
just
point,
a dot, right? And conversely, if you also have a circular orbit but an eccentricity in the orbit and vice versa,
Yeah.
if you swap them out, it would be like a line if it only had one of those aspects.
I
so
think,
it's
I
just
think
like
a good science
it's
class,
not that hard.
a cool science class could start with a bullshit video on every
Yeah.
new thing, right? All right, now let's
Explain
just
why this
listen
guy's
to
wrong.
this. Yeah, like listen to what this guy's saying. Does it sound convincing? All right, let's dig into it and explain it. And meanwhile, while you're teaching them the correct science, you're also telling them how full of shit people are and how they get it wrong.
Oh, I agree. So the thing that kills me is that, I mean, there's so many things wrong with the flat Earth model, but just watching a sunrise or a sunset disproves the flat Earth model 100%. It's completely incompatible with it. So
It's all perspective, though. I
well, they say it's perspective. What does that mean? Say, like the sun's, it's not going below the horizon; it's going farther away. No, it isn't. So that's how delusional these people are, because, or how their motivated reasoning is off the hook. We were in Australia recently. There was one location where the sunrise was over a lake. It was over the water, and I was up early enough to see it. When the sun peaks up over the horizon, like there's a glow in the sky, right? When the sun's getting close to the horizon. As soon as a piece of the sun is visible, it is 100 times brighter. You know what I mean? That little piece of the sun is, you can't even look at it. It's so bright. And it's sudden. It's instantaneous. That's not perspective. You can't explain that with the sun going farther away or whatever. You know what I mean? That only can occur if the sun is below the horizon and comes up above the horizon. But of course that can't be, maybe historically, I don't know, maybe somebody thought that's what it was, but because we can communicate with people all over the world, obviously if the sun was revolving about the flat Earth that way, where it would go going underneath the
Right.
Earth, it would be dark across the whole planet at the
Which
same
it never
time.
is. We know
which
it.
we know it isn't.
Obviously.
So they have to concoct this. Oh well, it's just moving about the Earth, but that does not explain what we're blatantly observing. It's just
And they don't care. They don't.
It's
none of
just
it matters.
amazing.
It's all about. I think the vast majority of flat earthers, it's all about enjoying the ride of the conspiracy, thinking that they know better than everyone, that they're in on the secret, whatever. It's just hard to watch because you see someone
hard to watch.
that just blows scientific integrity out of the water with nonsense crap like that. The guy speaks as if he knows. And what do you think? I mean, does it make sense to you that blah blah blah? It's like, again, don't stop thinking, pal. Stop.
Yeah, he's trying to counteract, actual like PhD career scientists with a bad 5th grade understanding of science. Like not even 5th grade understanding of science. Like it's just, it is sad. There's a certain element of it is sad. It's like, you're making yourself sound like a complete moron to the whole planet. You know what I mean? To anyone who watches your videos. That's one of the sad aspects of the internet. I think people saying really dumb shit that, it was getting a far wider audience than they would previously. And it's now preserved forever.
It turns out, Steve, that like the human race does not deserve a platform.
Yeah.
Really doesn't.
Do you know what analemma, the derivation of that word?
No, I forget. I might have known at some point.
Thank you very much.
I think it means in Greek, in ancient Greek, support, and it had the pedestal that supported the sundial. I think was called an analemma.
Oh, I see. I see.
like that.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Oh, do you want to show that quick picture I sent you?
Oh, yes.
While we're-
Sorry.
300 million
let me
books.
bring
That's
that up. Sorry. Where is that? Boom.
300.
Damn, man.
Is that how many books her
Wow, that she gave away. 300?
300.
That's a lot
300
of
million books. Yeah,
Wow.
she has a thing where she sent them out, right, to people, to kids.
Yeah.
Get the
I
camera.
don't think I
off.
was on that. That was like flip. There you go. There we are. Wah. There's the two dilemma. Right? Is that the one you're talking about?
So this guy, from what little research I did on behind this, I'm not sure if that's a legit word. It might be, but you can see where the arrow is pointing. He had to plan this meticulously to get this to show a total eclipse in one of these images. So this was apparently very difficult. A lot of work to time that perfectly. Because think about it, you have to take the picture at precisely the same time every day, as precise as you can possibly get it. So he would have to determine when this solar eclipse was going to be total.
You just need to know what time of day is.
Yeah,
Totality.
and then take that picture he looks like he took it every few
Well, Bob,
weeks or
maybe your
whatever.
first picture is the eclipse, and then you just take it at the same time of day every
Yeah,
day after
That's
that.
what a
that-
two dilemma is: a rare composite photograph of a year-long sun path that features a solar eclipse.
Yeah.
Because tutalma or something is the Turkish word for eclipse.
Oh, okay.
So it's like,
But how
that's the
cool? How
etymology,
cool is
apparently.
that? Look at the upper left side of that tutalema. It's kind of flat on that left side, right? It doesn't not as loopy as I would think, but
Is that just perspective? Is the figure eight kind of like in a position where looks flatter?
yeah, probably just because of the different positions.
Well,
of
there's
it.
not 365 dots there, so that's not
Right.
showing every day.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
So just how many days in between.
Yeah,
I like the one that he displayed because this guy took a picture every day for 3 years. So this was like a
So you could see it going
continuous
around,
line.
yeah.
That was really. Steve and I'm sure Steve remembers. We had a wonderful physics and astronomy teacher
In high school.
In high school, Mr. Coffin.
Yeah.
The best, driest sense of humor. He was wonderful. And I remember every day he would go. He had a paper on the floor of the classroom, and every day he would, at 12 o'clock precisely, he would go and he would mark on the paper where the sun was.
Yeah, because you
And-
had another paper over the window with a
the
pinhole.
pinhole.
A pinhole, so it's a pinhole coming through.
right,
So
so
you
you-
get just a dot on
an
the
image.
floor.
It's really an image of the sun.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
And he marked it, and then at the end of it, when he was done, he had a
He had
nice
an analemma.
analemma. It's the first time
Yeah.
I ever
That's
heard
cool.
or saw the word.
That's the way you teach.
He was great.
Also, set things on fire. That's cool too.
Yeah,
that's very
blowing
good.
things up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My daughter, we asked her, like, what do you want to learn this year? And she was like, I want to learn in science class how to make explosions. I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
Wow. I wish
That's
you
where it
had.
all
I wish you
started.
had that on video.
I have it. Well, it's on like a picture. She was all, well, whatever. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh boy, do not show her fireworks for a while.
Yeah, not for well, yeah. All right, let's see what else we got on the list. I mean, we could go into the measles or glyphosate. Which one
do measles.
Is yeah? Which one is
Either way.
more sad? All right, let's. Oh, why did I? I didn't have the.
Doesn't the
thing.
measles sound like a fake disease?
No.
It's like the skeevies, The measles.
The skeevies.
Heebie-jeebies.
Heebie-jeebies.
Consumption. I like, that's my
Are
favorite.
there scabies or scabies? Aren't those
Scabies
insects?
are real.
Those are
Scabies
insects,
real.
right?
Those are like
There
little
is a dermatological thing.
Yeah.
All right, so Pennsylvania reports the first 2 measles deaths in the U.S. this year, both people unvaccinated,
Yeah.
Yep.
of course. So, yeah, it is making a rise again.
Apparently, there's a renewed call to get rid of
I wonder
RFK
why.
Jr. But of course, that's not going to happen. But
I mean, those are completely avoidable deaths, but it is only 2
Yeah.
people. I mean, it's terrible, but
Well,
But those represent a lot of hospitalizations, a
Yes,
lot of other
I was
gonna
morbidity.
say.
and also the
But-
fact
It's-
that Pennsylvania has not had a death from measles, I think, in like 30
Couple
years.
decades.
Yeah.
It says
I
3
mean,
decades.
decades. It just
More
shows you
than
what
3
an outlier
decades.
that is and how crazy shit is now with this.
And is enduring its worst year for measles since 1991. So,
91, yeah.
Yeah.
At 30.
It has
5 years.
5. The U.S. now has 5 measles-associated deaths in the last 2 years. And yeah, we'll meet. To
I mean,
determine
the deaths from measles are very rare because of just modern medical care.
Yeah.
Well, the anti-vaccine kooks are fond of showing a chart looking at measles deaths in the U.S. And they go way down. So kind of a bouncy chart, but they go way down, and then you see then here's where the vaccine was introduced, and of course it continues to go down a little bit, but most of it, the decline was before the vaccines were introduced. It's like, yeah, but they're looking at measles deaths, not measles cases, right? And the reason for that is because, well, they're starting at like 1900,
Yeah.
It's like the reason for that is modern medicine, right? You're talking about before modern medicine to modern medicine. Of course, the deaths are down because we just knew how to take care of people. And then, but if you look at a chart of measles cases, it's like huge, and then you get the vaccine, and then it plummets.
oh, they won't. That chart doesn't exist to them.
Yeah,
Bob,
No,
somebody,
just so it's-
somebody likes your muscles, Bob.
it's called lying with data.
Bob's paying people in
More
TikTok
ripped.
chat. Can we discuss how Bob is looking more?
I'm open to this discussion.
No, we're not.
But we are lucky. We are lucky that there isn't a massive amount of people dying from the measles.
Wait, so we're not talking about me anymore. All right,
No,
I
sorry,
get
it's
it.
not on the list.
We
get
talked
it.
about you before you got here.
That's true, yeah. I mean, well, it just takes this. Well, okay. So with the MMR vaccine, right? They're no longer putting it together, right? Are they separating it out into different shots? Is that going to increase the unvax rate?
That's not happening.
That's not happening.
That's
oh,
what
it's not.
Trump called for, but doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Oh,
That
okay.
executive order,
Oh, it was just an
was-
executive order.
yeah, it was toothless.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Earlier this month, an executive called for revamped childhood vaccine recommendations, separating them out into 3 different shots. That's the classic one, isn't that the what's his face? Wakefield.
Yeah, Wakefield he had
argued that. But then he had his own.
his own sort of separated out vaccine that he was
Gosh.
pushing. That's why he was part of the reason why
part of
he
the
was
reason why, yeah.
trying to fearmonger about the MMR.
Oh my God. Crazy. All right. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's more to talk about that other than that's terrible. Get vaccinated. You said something. There were renewed calls, Bob, to have RFK step down. Is that
Yeah,
what
it was just a news article I saw on Reddit, which doesn't mean that much, because there's always calls for calling for him to be kicked out. But I'm sure
By
maybe-
who? It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
No, he's
not
not.
going anywhere.
I mean,
not.
yeah,
Until Trump wants him out.
yeah. There was probably like some Democratic senators or congressmen or senators that
He has to
that-
embarrass Trump somehow.
Yeah, that talked to reporters and said, "Yeah, we got to get rid of this guy because look, we're seeing That's all that was. But
It's all bullshit.
So
So Pennsylvania says it has counted 400 measles cases this year. The state has been promoting measles vaccinations as cases have risen. About 35,000 people have been vaccinated, up from the usual pace of about 25,000 per month. So, I mean, at least Pennsylvania's pushing for it in the right direction.
yeah.
But anyway.
To answer Jared's question about the disclosure project, I mean, it's really not accurate to say like there are dozens of high-ranking, personnel. A lot of the ones that are pushing it, they were never really high-ranking. They're usually former or whatever, and they're trying to promote what connections they have, but it's not like there are dozens of high-ranking people currently in the military who are saying, oh yeah, I 100% know that there is government's hiding UFO stuff. And when you ask them about it, it's stuff that they read about in the UFO literature oftentimes. You know what I mean? It's not like they have personal information. Then there's a few people like who really have very tangential credentials and who are UFO true believers who are just making shit up. You know what I mean? Who are just promoting whatever they're selling.
Yeah, they don't have to be delusional. They could be grifting.
They could be lying.
They could be lying. There's a middle path. All right, so I mean, maybe we could take it on. But who does really good stuff on that? I'll post a link in the chat.
What are you talking about?
About like all the UFO.
Talking about what's his name?
Yes, exactly. And I know you know who I'm talking about, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Chat knows. Come on.
God, the whole UFO thing to me is so boring now. It's like, oh my God, it really is. It's been the whole time we've been skeptics, like Bigfoot and UFO.
Mick West, right?
All these old school
It
topics
came to me after I thought about it.
After years of talking about it and digging into the details and learning about it and everything. Now fast forward decades, right? It just seems like a fairy tale. Like, how could people still digest this nonsense? How could it possibly be something?
Well, it's because it captures a new generation, and then that generation, it's basically the cycle is there's a UFO hype that sort of is interesting. I mean, we were interested in when we were 15 or whatever. The idea that we could be being visited by aliens, and there is that sense. You have this sense where disclosure is right around the corner, right? Something is going to happen. This can't be sustainable indefinitely. Like the government is going to make a disclosure, or they're going to reveal themselves, or someone's going to get in the media is going to get their hands on some objective evidence, whatever. And if you hear the proponents talk about it, it's like they're also sort of creating that vibe that it's right around the corner. That the proof is just
Never
there.
heard that before.
And you can only sustain that for so long. And so most people, there's always going to be a core of people who build their life around this. This becomes their thing, right? But the interest wanes over time because nothing freaking happens. Yeah. And then it sort of goes into the background for a decade, and then it comes back again because you have a new generation who aren't already bored about it. But obviously we're old fucks, right? So we've been doing this long enough, and even
Oldish.
And I read, Carl Sagan had a book about UFOs from the '60s. I read that 20 years ago. I forget the name. I read it 20 years ago, and the thing that struck me about it's the same stuff in the 1960s as we have now. It's the same claims, sometimes the same cases, the same old cases, the same, it's just a rehash of the same crap over and over and over again. It is complete nonsense. It's a nothing burger. There's just nothing there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other wrinkle here, Steve, is that, I mean, how many Bigfoot photos do you see on a day-to-day or weekly or monthly basis, whereas UFOs, there's always fresh crap coming out because everyone's got a camera and everyone can misidentify and take some ambiguous thing in the sky that you can't identify. So there's that thing that's always poking people like, oh, look at this new one, look at this one. So that's another, but
it's all the same crap.
Asymmetry with Bigfoot.
Look, I'm at the point if the freaking UFO doesn't land and kill people or want to make peace with the world.
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear about it anymore.
I mean, even
Give me a
even
jet
a
ski.
detailed
Right.
a detailed picture or video at this point,
Yeah, you can't even trust
it's like
that
you can't
anymore.
you can't trust
Can't
that.
trust
you know,
anything.
it would take a close encounter of the third kind, you know, to actually be like, oh yeah, whoa, as real
There's nothing
evidence.
even
guys.
remotely interesting in my nothing that I would take seriously, even slightly. It's not even interesting anymore.
Yeah.
You have to. It's like, look, yeah. It's initially like if someone's telling you this blurry blob is an alien spacecraft, and then your imagination fills it all in. You know what I mean? That's what It's the idea of it. It's not the evidence itself. Or you might see like a fake. Like there's a lot of fake videos out there, and if you think it's real, it's like that's interesting. But once you realize how fake it is, and it gets debunked, and then again that happens. Oh, anything even remotely interesting is always debunked as a fake, and I mean like blatantly so, not like we're dismissing of the evidence. So, like for example, oftentimes when you see like a flying saucer moving across the sky, that's a cherry-picked piece of the video.
Yeah, it's like
And if you watch the whole video, they cut out the parts where it's obviously a fake.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where like it's somebody throwing it in the air, or it's dangling from a string, or whatever.
Look, I thought UFOs were fun and interesting when I was freaking 13 years
Yeah.
old. And then you grow up and you stop believing in Santa Claus. Like, come on. Like some guy wrote on there, his sister is, a true believer in UFOs. Like, you just think of adults like bopping around, like thinking that UFOs exist, and like the evidence that they're seeing is provocative. Like, what the hell?
Well, they need a hobby. They need to get into tabletop role playing or
exactly.
video games or something. Like I think that for some people, it's like it becomes their hobby. It becomes their thing to take them out of their everyday.
Steve,
dull
I'd fucking
lives.
support them yodeling at this point.
Yeah.
Anything. Do something other than that. How about that? All right. Before I start insulting people for bad reasons, let's move on.
Okay. Here's what is this? This is kind of an oldie, if you remember from back in the day.
But was it a goodie?
Pepsi, man.
Oh,
so
boy.
This is Mountain Dew. I remember this because my aunt used to work for Pepsi, in the department where like she would get like phone calls from the public. Anyway, but let's listen to this thing. Okay.
I'm not
I don't
hearing
know
it.
why it auto mutes.
Remembering
Okay.
my Roman Empire is remembering that one guy that sued the Pepsi company because he found a mouse in his Mountain Dew, and he lost the case because Pepsi was able to prove that a mouse would completely dissolve in a can of Mountain Dew within a couple days. And it takes more than a couple days for the cans to get out of the factory. My room.
She's having an epiphany right at the end of that.
So what do you guys think about
As
that?
I
The
drink my
facts are
Diet
wrong.
Pepsi.
I mean,
The facts are wrong.
The facts are absolutely wrong.
I don't think a piece
not-
of toilet paper would dissolve completely in a
So-
can of Pepsi
Well,
in 2
actually,
days.
A guy
that
did
probably
sue
would.
Pepsi over claiming that he found a mouse in his Mountain
Yeah.
Dew. So that part is true.
Yep.
The other details,
And Disney and Pepsi
And
did
did-
address it with
Yes.
why that's impossible.
right? But it wasn't a couple of days.
Months.
It was 15 months.
Yep. Over
The
a
idea
year.
was that what was in the can, if it wouldn't be recognizable as a mouse after 15 months, not a couple of days, and it doesn't completely dissolve.
No.
It just would have turned to, like you said, a jelly-like substance.
Right.
Wouldn't that happen in water too?
No, because
water, it's
Mountain
acid.
Dew is very
It's
acidic,
acidic for sure.
and it's also a chelator. So the citric acid would essentially demineralize the bones. That was the key
Right.
part. Like the ligaments and the bones and tendons and stuff would not keep their cohesion after 15 months,
Right.
which was what that was dated to. Like that can
Right.
was whatever process came
And
off the factory
the
line
fur
15
would
months
never
ago.
dissolve. The fur would
Yeah.
never. There are parts of their mouse that would never disappear.
Yeah.
And I think it would be you'd see the fur. I mean, but
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
wouldn't see a recognizable mouse shape. It would
Right.
Be all
Yeah, and
So that
squishy
was
and-
so yeah. The report had to be wrong because a mouse would not be
Right.
recognizable after 15 months.
I was surprised though that it would take 15 months before it to get on the shelves.
Well,
I don't
that
think
whatever.
that's true. I
That
think
was
it
the
just that can specifically.
Maybe
right?
that specific
It's just
can.
so-
That's specific. It was
There's
that
no way
specific
that
can.
that takes 15 months for
Yeah,
soda to get.
that's what I thought.
And he got it out of a vending machine, so who knows how long it was in that.
And
Oh
if
my
you
God.
if you worry about like Mountain Dew's acidity, like don't eat vinegar. You know, like
Well, that's the
my
other
God.
thing. Like Mountain Dew's, its pH is 3.5 or something. Your stomach is 2.
Right.
Like your stomach is more acidic than the Mountain Dew. So it's not like, oh, how could you possibly drink something that's less acidic by an order of magnitude? Because remember, it's an algorithmic, it's an exponential system, logarithmic system. It's,
Right.
You know,
And
than your stomach acid.
Right, and it's in and out of your system relatively fast.
Yes.
It's not lingering in your system for months.
You're not floating in a vat of Mountain Dew
right,
for 15
right. Your
months.
body
Right.
handles it fine, thanks.
Plus, you want to retain that real mouse flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what you want
I mean,
there.
sure, you put a tooth in Mountain Dew or Pepsi or
probably
anything,
eats it away,
and
yeah.
it will impact it. But that's because it's sitting in it for whatever hours or days.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it can be problematic if you drink a lot of it over many years. It could have an impact on your teeth. But I mean,
But on the flip side of this whole thing, as crazy as all that is, like stop drinking soda. Soda is shit.
What?
Jay,
Yeah.
that's your personal
How
opinion.
dare
You
you.
don't give
Soda's
medical advice.
delicious.
That's just
Not
your
medical
personal
advice.
opinion. It is.
Soda's bad.
It's not true.
it's 99.9% water.
It's just water. Yeah, it's water
With flavor.
and the sweeteners in it. Well, sugar is probably the worst
Sugar is
single
probably-
ingredient. Of
Okay.
it. It's probably
Okay.
not a good idea to. And it's also about amount. You can't say like. It's the whole
dose
idea
is
that
in the
foods are good
poison.
or foods are bad is bad advice.
The dose
You
makes the
shouldn't
poison.
be giving nutritional advice based on this is good or this is bad. It's all about the amount. You shouldn't drink
That's
too
true,
much.
Steve. That's true.
You shouldn't
right,
consume
Jeff?
too much sugar.
Of course. I know the dose makes the poison. I totally get that. But like, you know, a lot of people out there consume a lot of soda. There's kids drinking
Just
a lot of soda.
be mindful of the amount.
There's caffeine
that
in
you're
a lot of
consuming.
these. They put caffeine in most of these drinks. Which
You can't say most. They're not putting caffeine in most of these drinks. That's an inaccurate statement
okay,
too.
what are they doing?
So the substances that naturally have caffeine, like cola, right, have caffeine in them. There are some drinks like Monster drinks or whatever, some brands specifically
Specifically,
caffeinate. You can't say most. A lot of drinks, root beers don't have caffeine.
Sprite?
any of
7-Up,
any of the citrus-based sodas
All right,
do
somebody
not have
look
caffeine.
this up. All right, so Steve, that's what you think from what you've read. This is us not doing research at this moment.
Well, I have researched.
Hold
this.
on a second.
I
I'm-
know
I'm-
exactly what has caffeine in it and
I'm
what doesn't have
talking, I'm
caffeine in
talking.
it.
I know you do. I do too. I know what sodas have caffeine and don't have caffeine. But any caffeine, if I'm correct, that is found in sodas is put into the soda. It is not naturally
Well,
occurring.
I mean, the,
I
the
don't think that
cola
that's
is
true.
Have someone look it up. I don't mind.
That's
being
why
wrong.
colas have to be decaffeinated. They're
That's-
not
that's
they're not
somebody-
uncaffeinated. They are
someone look it up.
decaffeinated.
I'm curious to know if my information is.
There are
outdated or
some
wrong.
specific brands that are where they
mean,
do increase the
it says
amount
cola
of
nuts.
caffeine in them, like
It's
Jolt
a,
Cola
it's
or
a feature, not a.
Yeah,
not
it's a
cola-
feature.
Cola nut does have natural caffeine.
Cola is a caffeinated.
Somebody's looking it up
But
right
they're
now.
probably it does.
I don't.
say
So
that,
what
like,
what is it you are contesting?
I'm saying that I read. Wait, and how much coffee has Jay had today? I only drink decaffeinated.
Chocolate, cola, and coffee and tea all naturally have caffeine
Right.
in them.
That's right.
That's why they are
the cola nut?
beverages. You know.
But it does look like the main soda makers do extract caffeine and intentionally put it as an ingredient. It's not. They don't really make soda from cola nut anymore,
Well, yeah.
right? So like that doesn't
What
have
the hell's a
natural
cola nut?
Cola nut is what cola came
Cola,
from.
yeah.
You ever seen
Originally,
cola nut?
Ian, doesn't
Originally
look like
Coca-Cola.
anybody's
Cola
doing it.
was
Can
it-
you?
I did it. I just did it.
All right, so
that wasn't off my head. I looked it up. Here, this is what a cola nut is. If you've never seen it,
I've
It's,
never. I don't think I've ever seen it
whoops.
or even really heard about
Yeah,
it.
it's this.
Yeah.
This is what
Cola's
it's
a thing.
Caffeine-rich seed from Wikipedia, tropical African trees. Yeah, that was the original.
if they're
flavor.
reformulating it to
They're
be like
reformulating
what
it.
you would get when they used to make it with
Exactly.
actual
Can
you
cola.
eat
in it.
those?
And then I'm probably you might chew them. It might be one of those ones where you chew it and spit it out because it's not like.
Okay, so
Super
the
digestible.
question is,
The question is, do they put
caffeine like in a Coca-Cola? Are they
Yes.
putting caffeine as its own thing? Like we have a vat of liquid caffeine that we're putting into the soda or not?
It seems like that is from cursory examination in a Google search. It seems like they do add it as a separate.
Yeah, you
item.
said most drinks. You didn't say cola. You said most
I said
soda.
most sodas have caffeine in them.
That's not true. I just told you most of the like orange, root beer,
Yeah, it depends on how you
Sprite,
define soda.
Fresca.
Cola.
None of those have
Have
caffeine in them.
Right.
Only really colas
Like
or
dark-
energy drinks have caffeine.
Okay, but that wasn't your point, though. The actual thing that you were wrong about, and it's okay to be wrong, Steve. Is that,
the
is
reason
that
why
they
colas
put caffeine in drinks
in colas.
that they want there to be caffeine. There is no
Sure,
naturally
sure.
occurring.
That's not, you can't say
Wait,
there's no
wait, wait.
naturally occurring. That is the part
That's
that's,
not
not
Let
true.
me finish my sentence. There's no soda that they make whatever ingredients they're making it out of. Like there is no like natural cola in the
there is.
process.
I
Yes,
don't
there
know.
is.
You
That's
could
the
say
main-
They don't
categorically.
make
Are you saying
colas.
categorically there's no cola brand
They
that
don't
uses
have
actual
cola
the
cola?
vast majority of colas
now you're
don't
backing
even
up
have
to the
Oh,
vast
that's
majority.
Well, there might be some home-brewed
No,
soda company in Pennsylvania
Well,
I don't
sure,
know
but
about.
the
Talking about the
original-
shit that you find in the supermarket.
Well, yeah. Now all the main, companies, Coke, Pepsi, they seem to formulate it and then they add it in to replicate what you would originally get from Cola Nut, which was
So I was correct.
not entirely
No.
wrong,
I
but
was
not
correct. That
entirely
was
wrong,
were
my
but
not
entirely
correct.
wrong.
That was my point. They put the fucking caffeine
Sure,
in
they
the,
put
in
the
soda.
caffeine in now,
And-
certainly for certain
I mean,
certain
he-
sodas, not every
Jay,
soda.
yeah, Jay was saying that they added that specifically on purpose, intentionally.
Sure,
It's added.
yes.
Like we're going to add the caffeine. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
'cause it tastes-
that's
it's
kind of
an
what he
additive.
was
It
saying.
tastes
and
good.
that's-
Kids do not regulate how much soda they drink. I have children. I've been a
Well,
child.
that's a different issue.
But that's part of what I was saying is like there's caffeine in soda, and that's not good to.
But then you can get non-caffeinated soda.
That's true, but I'm saying
And
though,
sugar-free.
Ian, you put caffeine in soda, and kids like to drink
But
soda.
Wait, hold on. But what's your argument? Is it that certain items in the soda are bad, or is it soda categorically is bad?
Sugar and caffeine.
Okay,
are,
but there are sources of non-caffeinated, sugar-free sodas. Are those bad too?
well, I mean, there's other chemicals that are in soda.
So everything is a chemical.
There's other things in soda like
Hydrogen monoxide.
well, like the artificial sweeteners have.
Okay, but
can have an effect
aspartame.
on
Hold
your
on. Talk
biology.
about the
They're,
aspartame.
they're perfectly safe.
Yeah, come on.
Well, not for me. They give me
Well,
heart
then-
palpitations.
You
Yeah, but
think,
you
but
need
even
kids.
if they give, that's a subset of people. Most people have no problem with the artificial
All right,
sweeteners.
so the small percentage of like the outliers don't count. What about trans people?
So stupid.
This is the
You
only
can-
way.
Jay,
This
what
is
I'm
the
pushing
only-
back against is your categorical absolute statement.
This is the only
Not
way.
the
I
fact
can,
that you could find an example of this does
Yeah.
not break my point that you can't make
That's-
blanket
You're right.
statements.
You're right. I
That's
got to
true,
be more
that's
careful,
true.
but I want the audience to understand. This is the only way I can argue with Steve. I have to catch him on the edge cases here because he knows a lot, and I admit that I don't know as much as Steve's perfectly
You're an
fine.
edge case.
You know, I'm a moron.
you're
But the
full
point
guy.
is, that caffeine it'll change your DNA every time you drink it.
Change
All right,
your
we've gone
DNA.
off, we've gone off the rails. You could have a very successful TikTok career, Jay. We should get him on. Where is the food, babe?
I want to be one of this fucking guy.
Yeah.
About
He's gonna
caffeine and
he's gonna
soda.
be
Is she
this
still a
fucking
thing,
guy.
the food babe? Is she still
She
even
exists
around?
because I think she is helping with the administration. In
Yeah,
some
oh
ways,
God,
like,
don't
right?
get me started.
Don't get me.
I drink
started.
seltzer. So unless CO2
That's a soda.
Unless CO2
That's
can
a
kill you.
carbonated beverage.
I know, but there's nothing in it. You know, it's just
Carbonation.
carbs
Caffeine is
in
my
there.
only vice. Yeah, of the vices, caffeine is
Yeah.
pretty low.
it is. And some people, somebody said, is the sugar
Yeah.
the real bigger problem? Like, you ever see like how much sugar is in the orange
it is a
juice
lot.
is bad too.
Yes.
Orange juice is mostly sugar.
Yes, but
They-
there's fiber and stuff if you get the good stuff.
It's delicious, and again, once in a while, I treat myself to a nice glass of orange juice. But like, if
yourself.
you look at the amount of sugar, you ever see the thing where they're like,
Yeah.
this soda has this much sugar, and they go up and some of them, like Mountain Dew, is like an unbelievable amount of sugar in it, and it's like half the can is sugar.
Yeah.
That's a freak load.
You know,
of
it's
sugar.
there's a lot. So some of the caffeine that they put in cola comes from the process of decaffeinating coffee and tea.
They
Oh,
take
that's
that
funny.
caffeine.
They-
and they put it in there.
yeah, they
that's
put-
good. They're not throwing it
Nice.
away.
That's efficient.
Yeah, that does sound efficient.
Yeah, but they're just the modern formulations just took the cola nut out of the loop because it was too
Too
hard.
expensive,
They-
right?
Well, it's just too hard to grow enough to support the
Oh, yeah,
massive cola industry.
And I
but there's a
read-
lot of boutique brands, including like the Fox and Cola, which is
Oh,
right
Fo-
made
yeah,
right
it's
here in
Connecticut.
Israel,
Oh, yeah.
that use actual cola. in
Fox
it.
You know, the
Cola's
other
pretty
thing they
good.
put in soda, like the food coloring they put in colas.
What?
Steve, correct me if I'm wrong on this. I read this about the food
Mm-hmm.
coloring.
Uh-oh.
Is that they use it's like a caramel coloring that they use.
Yeah.
And to get the color that they want, they have to kind of burn it, which has a carcinogen.
It's the second ingredient in my soda.
Is the coloring?
Carbonated water and caramel color is before aspartame.
So I read that caramel coloring is bad.
Well, it tastes good.
Now I don't know. Like it does taste good. I don't know if it actually is, but I did read that.
That it's
I like the
burnt
clear
sugar.
sodas where they don't.
Me too.
They just
Yeah,
don't-
but they came out with Pepsi Clear, and
Pepsi
people
Clear.
freaked out. They didn't like it.
but that's just
people would get used to it. I
use.
think
Yeah.
they just should have kept it up. The
I agree.
yeah, like orange soda is not naturally orange in any. There's nothing in there
not.
that's orange. They put orange. It just
It adds to it, though. I mean,
well,
it's-
it just that it shows you how visual our
Absolutely.
experience of.
And here's another
taste
example.
is-
What's that? What's the root beer? Is it Bark? So that's clear.
Yeah.
I love it.
It tastes great, but it's weird to
Wait, isn't
drink
that
because
birch beer?
it's root beer and it should be root beer colored.
Wait, isn't that birch
Have
beer?
you ever-
That's-
you ever-
Birch
I
beer.
don't like it. I
Have
don't
you ever
like.
purchased?
I drink it and I love it, but it's off-putting
technically
to drink
different.
root
It
beer
doesn't
that's
bother
clear.
me. I don't-
Water?
okay.
Water's, guys, let's try it. It's
I don't
nice.
drink water.
Do you guys ever make
Ah,
something like Crystal Light or non-name
Yes,
brand, you
sure,
make the
yeah.
thing, and you put it in, and then you see blue, like it's supposed to be like lemonade, or it's supposed to be tea colored, but then you see a little area in there that has a blue coloring into it, right? It's oh my god,
Until you
like
mix it all in.
yeah, I know, but that's the thing, like they're
Yeah.
putting in all these different colors to make the specific color, like iced tea has like a purpley kind of vibe to it in a sense, right? It's got like a brownish purple little thing. So they put blue in there.
Those colors are freedom, okay? These colors don't run, all right? Friggin' guy over here.
Yeah, but food coloring isn't bad anymore, right? Red used to be bad, but they
It's the hazard risk thing, right? Isn't that the whole thing with Red 40 as well? That there's a certain it's dose and hazard risk, whatever. All right, we're getting off. Speaking of hazard risk, this is a good segue into what's happening with the forests.
oh Christ.
And what are they spraying on? All right, so let's look at this. All right, so this is glyphosate. It's back in the news.
Oh, that
Maybe
stuff.
there's I don't know. There's maybe some nuance here, but let's listen to this.
The Trump administration this week proposed to open nearly 45 million acres of national forest land to roads and logging, part of its broader push to boost timber production. The announcement comes as a year-long investigation reveals how California forests are already being managed to grow more timber using a controversial herbicide being sprayed at record levels by timber companies and the U.S. Forest Service. The Center for Investigative Reporting's Nate Halverson has that story.
Well, I guess the first question is, why do you think they're increasing production of, forestry for the foresting industry? Logging, but why, where did we get all the wood before?
Canada?
There we go.
Aha, nice.
So, and I think given that we're on the outs with them, seems like we're trying to increase it. Anyway, so they're expanding that. Let's just keep going.
Every year, Joe Van Meter welcomes thousands of tourists into the Lassen National Forest in California, where he and his wife run the Mill Creek Resort.
Yeah,
By
thank
the
you
way,
guys.
Diet
Have a great-
Barks does not have caffeine.
It
Go
doesn't?
ahead, no.
Diet Bark doesn't have caffeine. That's good.
Keep going.
Here we go.
Yeah.
They moved here in 2017 to escape the city and raise a family in what they call a slice of heaven.
Yeah, it's a
Okay, there we go.
What are we
You said
doing?
pause it?
No, just keep going. This is the fluff part.
Oh, this is the fluff part.
beautiful
Right,
piece of
exactly.
property. We have about 12 acres here.
But since purchasing the nearly
Tell you what.
100-year-old resort,
Tell you
Van Meter
what.
told us he's had to evacuate guests and staff twice to escape massive forest fires.
And how close from right here did the fires get?
Right there, really to the edge of our property. It's a devastating thing to live through, and it's traumatic.
And destructive. So when Van Meter learned the U.S. Forest Service planned to replant trees in the burned out areas around his home, he was thrilled. Then he heard the agency's plans involved glyphosate.
My initial reaction was what is that?
He quickly discovered glyphosate is the key ingredient in Roundup, which has been at the center of lawsuits resulting in more than $12 billion in monetary judgments and settlements to thousands of people who claimed it made them sick. The World Health Organization's cancer agency has made it clear. It thinks glyphosate is a health risk. Back in 2015, it determined the herbicide was, quote, probably carcinogenic to
All right,
humans.
stop there.
All right, here we
That's
go.
They're getting two things wrong there. they didn't think it's a health risk. It's a health hazard. It's again that hazard risk thing.
Critical distinction.
They say it's a probable cause of cancer. Caffeine is also on that same designation.
Depends on the dose. Right?
It's a dose of, absolutely. So that's just saying there's a mechanism by which, yes, in whatever animal models that it could, cause cancer. That doesn't mean that it's a risk to actually cause it in people as people are exposed to it. So the other thing is the lawsuits is very misleading for a couple of reasons.
Yep.
If you look at the history of those kinds of corporate lawsuits, right, where people sue corporations because they caused some negative health outcome, there's not a good correlation with the actual science, and there's famous cases throughout history, and in fact the legal standards have gotten worse over time. The standards have been watered down in terms of what the threshold of evidence you need. You don't have to prove, like in order to be awarded money from a corporation, you don't have to prove that what the corporation did actually caused a negative health outcome. You just have to show that it could have, like it might have.
That's what happened in Roundup, right?
That's what happened. And not only that, like the famous one is remember the silicone breast implants causing breast cancer?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No evidence, or not causing autoimmune disease. That's what it was,
Okay.
causing autoimmune disease. So that was a theory for a while, and there was some preliminary evidence that maybe there's something here. And then
Lawsuits.
millions and tons of lawsuits, and then eventually it was like, oh, never mind, there's no cause and effect there at all.
Did they give the money back?
No, that was it.
Were they giving out free breast enlargement surgeries?
So anyway,
Are you interested, Jen?
that happens over and over
Exactly.
again. Where there's this preliminary evidence that maybe there's a problem there, and so that's exactly what happened. Like so, shortly after that, that risk that hazard assessment came out, there was a major study which was not included in that evaluation showing there's basically no correlation with glyphosate and like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and the diseases that people were claiming were the result. So I think that the evidence is pretty solid for consumers being exposed through food, right? That is orders of magnitude less than any even potential risk. The slight, I think, gray zone is if you have people with industrial exposure. Mm-hmm. So these are people spraying glyphosate and not wearing proper, ventilators or masks.
Yeah, I think it was Kevin Folta who told us that he was talking to some, he talks about this too, and he was saying like there was a guy that would mix glyphosate on the farm that he worked on, and it would come dry. So just add water, and the guy would be in there with his arm like mixing this shit all day.
And
you could get a massive amount. There's people who do get an incredible amount of exposure.
So, but
to this
even there, the evidence is not ironclad. But it's not as clearly negative. It's harder to prove that there isn't really a correlation. So,
Steve, here's some numbers I read today about that.
Yeah.
It said that for people that use it, not as just a guy doing their
weeds on their sidewalk.
This is like industrial application. And this is for using glyphosate, and it was for contracting like
non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is the one.
But the other one that I was reading was non-alcoholic liver.
Oh, okay.
Liver disease.
Oh boy.
And they said the relative increase in risk went up 41 to 49%. And I'm like, wait, what's relative risk? I found out that the absolute risk went. And these are heavy users. This is like their job. The absolute risk went from say 2.4%, which was kind of baseline, to 3.4%. So it's like, all right,
that's real.
That's real. It's real and it's identifiable, but it's not like 50% increase. Let you think. So they could use the numbers.
Yeah, that's the relative versus absolute risk, which is another way to sort of make things seem more.
Huge distinction that is important.
Yeah. So of course, like with a lot of industrial chemicals, when you can get massive exposure, that's going to contain risks that don't exist for the general population or the exposure that we would otherwise get. So the forest case is interesting, and I haven't seen any data on that because this is somewhere in between, right? You're not mixing it in a factory. There's if you're spraying an entire forest area with glyphosate. I mean, presumably they were just trying to get rid of the ground cover so that the trees can grow, right? Because it would affect the weeds, but not the trees.
That's what it says.
Yeah. So, that, I don't know, that seems to be somewhere in between. And I don't know. I suspect it's probably not a risk because it's, even at the industrial level, it's very tiny if real. But it's very easy to fearmonger people about it, right? And then you just throw it, billions have been given in lawsuits. That means meaningless. That's meaningless to what the actual science is. Courts have given billions of dollars away for things that we now know were not true. In the 30s and 40s, there was a couple of decades of lawsuits where people successfully sued because they argued that minor trauma triggered cancer. Right? So I punch you in the arm and you get a bruise there. And then 10 years later, you get cancer.
In your arm?
Whatever. A lot of it was breast cancer. Then that bruise caused my cancer. And there were successful lawsuits
that's
for
crazy.
decades
Could you
over
imagine that
until there was enough time to get data to show, no, there's no cause. Trauma does not cause cancer. So anyway, that's a pattern in the case. And again, I forget what the legal names are. There's a legal name for what the standard was, even at that time when those cases were happening, and the standards have shifted so that they're less stringent. Like you don't have to qualify. The qualifications to be considered a scientific expert were lowered. Or like you could say, the lawsuit could be based on one person's opinion. It doesn't have to be the consensus of scientific opinion.
Yeah,
sure.
It could just be, I'm an expert and I have this opinion, and that's good enough for the court. And just let the jury decide, basically. So, it's very misleading.
Steve, I got to move my car for Autumn's doctor appointment.
All right.
Also,
here's my key in case
somebody was making a joke in the chat that glyphosate is no longer in Roundup, which is true, actually.
That's true. There are formulations of Roundup that don't use glyphosate anymore.
Except
Roundup's a brand name.
The residential, public-facing one. Apparently, they still use it for public.
Yeah.
But does it still work, Ian?
Yeah,
if you buy it at the Home Depot or whatever, it's not.
It's not.
Glyphosate
So it has
anymore.
other chemicals, of course, that are seemingly, at least reported, that they're more hazardous than glyphosate. It's a triclopyr.
Great.
They all sound crazy. Fluazepop and diquat. So those three, it's like a mix together, and they are seemingly more hazardous than glyphosate.
That's true. That's the other thing is it's all relative.
Yeah.
The reason why glyphosate is as popular as it is because the toxicity is so low.
Yeah.
And when people fearmonger about it, mainly because Monsanto, right? Let's face it, that's why.
Which doesn't exist, right, anymore.
It's
in Bayer.
Consumed by Bayer. The alternatives are generally worse. And so that's what you get, when you listen to fear-mongering, you end up with alternatives that, rather than just following the evidence and forgetting the fear-mongering,
Yeah. So, but let's see. All right, let's watch a little bit more because I wonder if they get into, I forget what else they get into here.
Last month, Bayer, which bought glyphosate manufacturer Monsanto in 2018, created a new company called Ruvian to focus solely on its glyphosate-based business. In a statement to the NewsHour, Ruvian said it stands behind the safety of its glyphosate-based products, which have been tested extensively, approved by regulators, and used around the globe for 50 years.
Yeah, it's true.
The Forest Service considers it a valuable tool and has plans to spray glyphosate on about 10,000 acres in Lhasa National Forest near Van Meter's home. It claims it will help accelerate reforestation efforts.
What was your reaction when you saw that they were planning on using herbicides across the land right around your community?
That it seems like it's poison that they're putting into the woods. There's some real health concerns for children, for babies, right? I have a 2-month-old. This is our backyard. This is where my children play.
Lhasa National Forest is hardly alone in turning to glyphosate. According to our analysis of more than 5 million pesticide reports, Roundup and glyphosate products are being sprayed in record amounts across California's forests, quadrupling in the last 2 decades. The usage is especially widespread on private timber company land, and the evidence we discovered is plain to see.
To my right, it's perfectly demarcated. You see where the herbicides have been sprayed. To my left, they haven't recently sprayed herbicides, so the bushes, the life is coming back among the pines.
To justify its continuing use of glyphosate, the Forest Service commissioned an in-depth study 15 years ago. That study examined reports from around the world and concluded that the chemical was safe for the environment and people. But our investigation found that the Forest Service's assessment relied heavily on studies that were manipulated by Monsanto to quietly shape the scientific record, according to company emails and depositions made public in litigation.
I've been at Monsanto approximately 33 years.
Dr. William Heidens was Monsanto's toxicologist and helped orchestrate a public campaign to promote glyphosate as safe. At this deposition in 2017, he was asked to read an old email he wrote.
The focus of this is what is the carcinogenic potential of glyphosate.
Monsanto emails revealed that Heidens and others searched for outside scientists they could pay to, quote, get up and shout glyphosate is non-toxic, and write seemingly independent studies that would be, quote, referenced and used to counterbalance the negative stuff.
And you knew that it would be more powerful if it looked like it had been written by outside authors.
No, that's not correct.
Let's see what it says here. You say it was noted this would be more powerful if authored by non-Monsanto scientists.
Oh yeah, I see that. So I sort of misunderstood your question.
In another company email, Heidens wrote that his team would, quote, ghostwrite a study, by which he meant Monsanto would do the writing and scientists would just edit and sign their names, so to speak. The same way, he added, they handled a study called Williams, Crows, and Monroe in 2000, which turned out to be one of the most influential pro-glyphosate reports at the time. It concluded, quote, there is no potential for Roundup herbicide to pose a health risk to humans. That study was cited 28 times in that 15-year-old Forest Service.
Yeah, good.
I mean, the bottom line is, you know, this reporting and what the guy, you know, the logger has to say and everything, it all just boils down to the scientific testing, right?
So, there are absolute legitimate complaints against Monsanto and against lots of corporations for putting their thumb on the scale in terms of doing things like that. And it really was unnecessary, but they were, you know, panicking over the negative, you know, press that glyphosate was getting. And so they wanted to counter that, but they just made the situation worse because now when you know, if it comes out that like they authored a white paper or that, you know, whatever, they're trying to promote. You know, pharmaceutical companies do this all the time too. Like they'll find the scientist who believes what they want to believe and then promote them, you know, give them speaking fees or whatever. And it's just it looks very bad. But you have to say, all right, so anything that they've potentially tainted, just take that away, and you have to look at the truly independent evidence. You still come to the same conclusion, you know, that glyphosate has very low toxicity, and again for the exposure for just consumers, you know, like in produce, it's you know, orders of magnitude below anything where there's a signal. But this, of course, creates now the narrative that it's all, you know, now you could just dismiss everything because it's all a conspiracy of the corporation. It just muddies the waters incredibly. It's just so counterproductive. I told you, I know I've told this story several times. Where I got an email from Monsanto like 20 years ago now, or 15 years ago.
I love this story.
Yeah, because I was talking about mainly about GMOs. You know, they said, "Oh, we like, you know, what you're saying about GMOs." I'm like, "Never write me again, and just do not. If you like, whatever, just whatever your goal is, the best thing to do is just to never have contact with me again." And that was it. Because like, what are you doing? You're gonna
taint.
You're gonna taint. You know, let me do what I'm doing naturally, just based upon what I think. Yeah. Like, God, can you imagine if I had any kind of formal connection with Monsanto?
Done.
Where was that going to go, though? Where would
I have no idea. I just shut it down.
Nothing else
would matter.
People
Yeah.
accuse you that of it anyway, right?
Right.
So, I mean,
right,
it's like...
right.
They contacted the wrong novella. I mean, they could have contacted me, give me a shitload of money, buy me trips to wherever, and I would be like, yeah, this is good stuff.
Jay is the novella for sale.
But-
So if you guys, no,
But that was, I remember when Steve told us about that, and it was actually almost kind of scary.
Right.
Because it was like, wow, this is like a
It was their PR
still a
office,
billion, massively, global $1 billion company is like reaching out to you and what were they, what was their intent? It's crazy.
Put you in the firing squad.
To coordinate our messaging. I don't know.
But you can't.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of people like online say this, and I don't know how true it is, but it's one of those things that feels kind of true. But like, can you really, develop $1 billion company and not kind of get scuzzy somewhere along the line?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question. Is it? I think I'd like to believe the answer is yes, but it's probably rare that you're not playing the game somehow in order to get it, because there's a part of it is competitive, right?
Right.
And so it's not just you're making a good product, providing a good service, running a good company, you're efficient. It's also that you're beating the competition.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not taking advantage of shortcuts or whatever, and they are, it's probably hard to be successful.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think the argument is usually tailored at people like who are billionaires, not so much companies that make $1 billion or
Yeah, I think
it's slightly
it
different
applies to both to some extent. But
Yeah.
here, this is where things get messy, and we've talked about this before. There's no clean narrative, right? It's not like you could say companies never do engage in shenanigans or conspiracy theories, or regulatory agencies are all perfect. That's not
Especially
true.
now.
Science is messy. Regulatory agencies are messy. Corporations are messy. There's a lot of personal failings. There's a lot of greed in there. Yet there's tons of examples of companies doing bad things. I generally assume companies are self-interested. I think that's a good baseline assumption. And I assume that regulatory agencies are not as effective as they should be, basically. And the science is always complicated. I'm sorry, but it's a messy world. That's the world we live in. But that doesn't mean that you could just throw your hands up in the air and say, well, I'm just going to believe whatever I want to believe, or we know nothing, or everything's a conspiracy. Like those kind of cynical, absolute kind of beliefs are also not true, right? They're also, that's just another form of pseudoscience, that kind of doomism.
Yeah.
You have to say that we can still get to the point where enough independent good science gets done that we could say something about this, and regulatory agencies are sometimes effective, and companies don't always do bad things. You know what I mean? Like we have to call it for the complexity that it is, rather than just saying it's this way because of this simplistic narrative, because corporations always lie, or the government always lies, or whatever.
And therein lies the problem, Steve, because other than like the skeptics that, the few skeptics around the world who actually, are interested in those details and can calculate all that stuff, most people they are following narratives that
people like
fed.
simplistic narratives. They also like moral purity, right? They don't like the complexity that people are good and bad, or corporations are good and
Gray,
bad,
I don't like
or
gray.
governments are good and bad. But that's the reality. People like it. It's just easier. It gives you this illusion of control, and it gives you this comfort of simplicity, and the simplicity of moral purity when you just have a simplistic narrative. I just assume the government's always lying, or corporations are always evil, or they're always lying to you about everything, right? We see that on TikTok all the time on the internet, where that's sort of the ultimate final expression of this kind of cynical doomism. Like they are always lying to you about everything.
Right.
Right. Whereas the world is nuance. It is nuance, but that's hard. It takes a lot of intellectual work.
Yeah.
It takes, you know what I mean, to
it takes
deal
honesty and energy just for you to sift through it yourself. That's
and it
the
is
thing
emotionally exhausting. It's like, I'm trying to fairly represent what the evidence is actually saying on glyphosate, and then a legitimate story comes out about Monsanto putting their thumb on this guy, and I'm just like, you just made my job so much harder by doing that. It's just terrible.
So you're saying more Luthen Rail from Andor? Remember
Yes,
that guy?
yes.
That guy was like in the gray. Less Luke Skywalker.
Please make our job easier.
You want us on that wall.
You can't handle the truth.
You can't. All right. Well, I don't. This just kind of gets into more of like the toxicology. They interview some people. Blah blah blah. I mean,
Yeah, it's a biased report.
It's relatively framed anti-glyphosate.
Well,
yeah.
They lost me when they asked the lumber guy what he thought. It's like, I don't give a shit what he thinks. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm gonna listen to that guy about science and what's happening.
He's working a job.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So that was that. Let's see. What do we got here? What is this? Oh, we already did that one. We did the colon nut. What else did we have in here? Oh, is it still true? So
Okay.
Let's see if this website. So I found this from somebody. Is it still true?
This sounds fun.
It sounds fun. So what we can do is select a country.
Okay.
Let's do country mode.
Sri Lanka.
No, let's pick the USA. Just for
Okay,
now.
USA.
Okay. So next.
Hello.
What time machine? Yeah. When did you guys graduate from? What does it say? High school?
High school was 82.
I think
for Bob and I.
1982. We'll just do 82. 82. Research my education. So it's going to load some things, and it's going to say, are these still true? Sharks are older than trees. Believe it or no way?
I think no.
Yeah,
I know the oldest shark is like surprisingly old, but trees are super crazy old.
Super crazy old. So
the oldest
I'm gonna
trees.
say no way. Surprise! It's actually true.
Yeah.
Sharks have been around for 400 million years.
Oh, they're talking about as a lineage.
lineage.
I thought you meant the oldest sharks and the
Oh, like
oldest
that is
trees.
no.
I
the
misunderstood
lineage.
the question.
Yes,
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So a day on Venus is longer than its year.
Its year? That makes no sense.
A day on Venus is longer than that's longer
Yeah.
than a year on
I
Earth.
think it's true.
No. It's saying that for the I guess the planet to do one revolution, which would
they
be a
say
day.
its year. A day
Yeah.
on Venus is
It's-
longer
it's-
than its year.
It's crazy long, as I'll say.
I think
yes.
that's
I believe
true.
it.
I
Yeah,
think that's
I believe
true.
that.
Its day is
Believe it.
is
You got
ridiculous.
it right. Yep. Venus
Yeah.
takes 243 Earth days to rotate once, but only 225 Earth days to orbit the sun.
Yeah.
I like this.
That's fun. Okay. Water can boil and freeze at the same time.
No.
Boil and freeze at the same
That's
time. It's got to
weird.
be a pressure thing.
Two
Yeah, it's got to
different
be that
places?
like
Yeah,
triple
definitely.
point or whatever. Like.
Is there a
where it-
triple point? Yeah, where it's the
I don't-
boiling point and the freezing point are the
it might not be
same.
triple point,
Let's
might
just
be-
say no.
Let's
and
say
see what
yes.
happens.
I'm going to
Okay.
say yes. I'm
All
going to
right,
say yes.
Two out of three get it. Yes, you got it right at the triple point.
Yeah.
0.01 and.
Why they call it the
six-
triple point?
Because you have the
I'll
gas,
show you.
liquid, solid, and you have pressure and temperature,
Okay.
and then there's a point at which they're all converged.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The triple
Here's
point.
what- yeah, this is a engineering.
There you go.
No, you got to know these points. So yeah, all the different phases of water.
And sublimation's when you go right from
yeah,
Well,
from
yeah,
solid to gas.
solid to gas.
Yeah,
kind
I
of.
mean, boiling
kinda
has
right
to do with
it.
pressure, right? It doesn't have to do with temperature.
There is one temperature where where
Yeah.
it transitions. So it's
Yeah.
but it's so quick you might as
Yeah,
well
yeah,
say
right,
it's a direct
right,
turn.
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so there's that.
That's
All right.
cool.
Sloths can hold their breath longer than dolphins.
I know they swim.
I
They
don't think
definitely
so.
swim, but hold their breath longer than
I
dolphins.
don't think
I'd
so.
say
Why
no,
would that
'cause
be
why?
true?
Why
It
would
can't
they
be
need,
true.
Why would they
It
need
can't
to?
be true.
They
It's
can
not-
swim.
Evolutionarily, why
Say
would they
no.
need
I would say false.
I mean,
False.
they're
We
pretty
all-
slow. Maybe they need extra time to get out of the water.
No,
But they can swim. They can keep their head above water.
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to say no way.
Nope.
Surprise, it's true. Sloths can hold their breath for up to 40 minutes
I still
underwater.
don't believe it.
By
40?
slowing their heart rate, while dolphins max out at 10.
That can't be true.
I guess
Well-
they're faster.
Well, their heart rate, is probably so low, it makes it
Why? But why
easier.
would they? It's got to be a epiphenomenon.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it doesn't really isn't really needed, but hey, it's a nice to have.
I don't know. I'm not feeling good about that last one. Ian.
All right.
Actually, I
Let's
need to
check
do the
it.
school mode. I'm on the wrong mode, but whatever. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood.
True.
I think
Tr-
that's
true.
No,
Wait, they have.
they have a heart for every. Oh
Limb.
no, it's a brain for
No,
every.
they have
limb.
3 hearts. They definitely have 3
Yeah,
hearts.
all right.
Yeah.
Let's try is yes.
I think it's true.
True, you got it right. 2 hearts to pump blood to the gills and 1 to the body. The blood is copper based.
That's right, Copper.
Cyanide.
Like a Vulcan.
Like a Vulcan, yeah.
Instead of iron based, making it blue. Your DNA stretches to the sun and back 330 times.
Sure.
Why not?
Why not?
Why
Sure.
not?
It's too far.
Sure. You got it right.
It's the sloth thing seems to be true.
Well, I don't believe
The
it.
sun was right.
The sun is right.
Wow, I didn't
Bananas
think-
are berries. Strawberries
Yes,
aren't.
bananas are berries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we know that. He's a banana.
Can't get me on a banana thing.
Banana thing. Chainsaws were invented for childbirth. Oof.
Absolutely.
For childbirth?
Yep.
Yeah, I think didn't they-
Chainsaws were invented.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because there's a procedure where you split the pelvis, which is pretty horrible, right? Isn't that the?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
It has to be
it's
a,
true.
a medical
It's
chainsaw.
a medical chainsaw.
But-
It's not
but-
like a tree.
Yeah.
But the
Okay,
original,
sure.
like I guess the original chainsaw.
Yeah, I believe
That
it.
technology evolved out
First
of
chainsaw is.
There's no way the answer would be no.
I know, right?
Why would it
Yeah,
be
why
no?
would they even put it on
If
there?
they knew what they were doing, they would throw crazy shit in like that just to keep you on your
That's true.
toes.
Right,
There's to
but I
help
don't-
with
I don't
difficult
get that.
childbirth by cutting the pelvic bone, which was like it was terrible. I mean,
don't like that.
You know, women couldn't walk after that. Hippos can't actually swim.
Correct.
They run.
True.
They run.
They run on the
Walk
bottom.
yeah, they run right. Despite living in water, hippos are too dense to float.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man, they're like
Call them that.
bags of muscle, man.
They gallop along the riverbed. It's surprisingly fast, but they also can run very fast. too,
Listen,
right?
They
the
will
rule of
mess you
thumb
up.
with hippos is have nothing to do with them.
That's true.
Just to keep away.
They kill- they
They'll kill you in
kill-
a
They kill
second.
you.
They're,
They kill more
they're-
people than a lot, and sharks and a lot of
Yeah.
A single
animals.
cloud weighs about 1 million tons.
I agree with
I
that.
mean, probably
right.
true. They weigh a lot more than you think they do.
Yeah.
So I'll say true.
Oh, you got it right. Average cumulus cloud contains about 500,000 kilograms of water per cubic kilometer.
My God.
Typical cloud spans multiple cubic kilometers, reaching about 1 million tons.
Say that 20 times. Cubic kilometers.
Cubic kilometers. Okay, I think I was actually in the wrong mode because I think this was the one I wanted to do. Is school mode where it's like it shows you what is different from when you graduated. So we could
Okay.
do city,
School
wait,
facts.
country,
Bunker.
U.S. or what city?
New
did
York
you
City.
guys grow up? Or
Well,
you want to do New York?
We went to school in New Milford,
Oh, it
Connecticut.
could be any city?
I think we could do. Well, we have to know the school in there, the city. So maybe go to yours.
Wait a minute. So Paradix asks a very cromulent
What was
question. Vulcans have copper blood. How can a Vulcan and humans have kids? So that's a whole thing in Star Trek is how different species
Here we go.
can
Right.
have kids with each other.
Let me put the
And
86 banner up.
it's a lot worse than just that they have copper based, blood rather than iron based. If their DNA didn't use the same code that our DNA uses, we would be completely genetically incompatible.
Yeah, it's of course.
It is
silly.
canon that they can't naturally have kids together, that you have to do some genetic manipulation, and you could then, if you're genetically manipulating, you're basically choosing one of the species to be, I guess, the
Dominant.
the dominant. Like you're going to
Yeah.
use Vulcan genetics or whatever,
Well, in Star
and then
Trek-
we're going to just figure out a way of translating some human genes into
Right.
to Vulcan, DNA. But they retcon that because there's hybrids of like almost every species
It's a hybrid.
Do it.
in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Remember with the Next Gen episode,
There's Klingons.
all of the humanoids in the galaxy all have the same genetic
seeded.
origin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, which is still
a
doesn't
fun
quite
episode.
make sense, but at least they
Yeah.
tried. They at least like, okay, so that's why there's so many humanoids. That's why their DNA is compatible because we're actually
Right.
are all related. It kind of makes sense that
Right.
way.
And also back to Spock. Don't forget.
That's the old one, by the way.
I know. I couldn't find it quick
If you
enough.
have T negative blood, I think it gives you an exemption.
Has anyone ever seen a drawing of a Vulcan's penis?
Okay.
No.
We haven't. We don't know. We don't know what it looks like.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Is it
I
corkscrew?
mean, what color
Like a
is
duck?
it?
Corkscrew.
You know?
Like a duck. All right.
Vulcans
so
have corkscrew
like a
penis like ducks.
New Milford. All right. So we're doing New Milford. Is that what it's?
Same DNA tech as they do in the culture. I
What
don't
was
think
the
it's
school
that advanced, but
What was the school name?
Wait, so what's happening?
Any mention of the
So
culture,
we're going to
I
enter
appreciate.
school information and
Canterbury.
Canterbury,
Canter.
like as in the
B-U-R-O-I?
tails.
Connect.
That's it.
School type. I don't know.
Prep
High
school.
school? Prep
Prep.
school?
You prep.
Does that not mean it's a high school?
It's a high school. If they don't have prep school as an
Yeah,
option.
it doesn't seem like. Okay, now 90. What was it? 82?
82.
I don't know what this is gonna do. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to tell me what happened. No,
Oh,
it's supposed to tell me the things that were you learned in school and then
That were wrong.
That were wrong.
No, you learned they were right then, but
You
they're
learned they were
wrong
right,
now.
but now they're wrong.
That's my take.
That's what I don't know why. Maybe it's too far back. Is it still true? Oh wait, here. Let's try this one. Maybe this is it.
Okay, start.
It doesn't. Start.
Hello.
Hello.
Is this part of the
Hello?
quiz?
Hello. Let's do a hard refresh.
Some idiot in Connecticut clicked this button 20 times.
I'm sure. You know, it's probably our ad block is breaking it. I don't even have ad block on. All right. Well, this is a bust.
That
Never
guy
mind.
says the Vulcan's penis looks like this. Oh my god.
What?
There's too many jokes in there.
Stop it. Please
Oh, that was a good one.
All right.
The Culture Rocks, great book series, man. Are ribbed for their.
All right. Well, I guess do we have any of those TikToks we wanted to do? I forget if you picked any out.
For general discussion?
Yeah, or just in. Hold on. Wait, we're doing
Or to do
research.
TikTok.
What happened?
I mean, yeah, I have I know which ones I want to do as my individual TikToks.
Okay.
Are there any left for the general discussion?
Does anybody out in chat have any questions
loading.
before Bob and I split?
Yeah,
Questions.
go ahead, you guys ask.
Questions for me and Jay, not Steve.
Not Steve. Yeah, I don't know.
Or me.
The website is not working because I'm trying to research old ones.
Jay and
it
Bob, what's it
won't
like working
load.
with Steve?
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Steve's the best boss in the world.
That's true.
He's
Don't
awesome.
forget it.
He's awesome. All right, what is? Yeah, chat. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna
Talk
We
amongst
can talk.
yourselves.
The three of us can talk. That's
All right, you could talk about.
All right,
something.
here's
What
a
do you-
topic.
Oh, what's happening this weekend? Right.
Vagina dentata,
Oh, no,
yes,
not
I
this
have.
Weekend. Next weekend.
I've
Oh,
come-
well, we're leaving for.
I don't like
Dragon
that
Con.
phrase. Vagina dentata.
Ian, we're
Why?
leaving.
Scary.
It's a movie.
Oh yeah,
Scary.
I've come across that in short stories. And
Yeah,
it
me
was
too.
Quite interesting.
Did you see the movie called Teeth?
No.
There's a movie
I
called.
saw
It's
that.
a horror movie
Terrible.
called Teeth. That is.
Clouds.
You saw it. You saw it.
Yeah, no,
You've
clouds
seen
were not upside down. It was the one thing that
I
wasn't
got
upside
glasses
down.
first.
I guess
Yeah,
they
it's
were
Jay, then me,
technically
then
upside
Bob.
down.
The best entrance for a haunted trail is close to the ticket area.
Surprise me. Here we go. Surprise.
Main ingredient of pesto
Is pests.
basil.
Basil.
I made pesto. I went to
Pesto's
my
great.
daughter got my wife and I a cooking class for some holiday, and we made our own homemade pasta and we made our own pesto sauce.
Yeah.
You basically have this huge pesto plant, basil plant, and you have to the whole thing. You have to
Yep.
grind it down, and you get a little bit of paste at the
know.
end. It's such a little
It's
amount,
unbelievable
yeah.
how little you get.
But it's so
It's powerful though.
it's powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, the website is broken. I just confirmed.
So there's a white Andorian subspecies. Have you guys seen those
I never
episodes?
know.
Yeah, that was one. That was an episode.
So albino?
Was it in Enterprise? It must have been
Enterprise, I think. They weren't albino. They were like really, really pale, like white.
Was it a
Were they
was it
Scottish?
a cold
Irish?
climate?
Which I love.
Was it Arctic climate.
Well, the whole
They're-
Andorian planet is cold.
Yeah.
But I love when they have anything that's not a pure monoculture in an alien species.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
I've read about 5 of the culture books. Waiting for some of the other ones to come out on Audible.
The second best substitute for pine nuts in pesto.
Well, what's the first
Walnut?
best? Why
There
the
is no
second best?
substitute for pine nuts in pesto.
Yeah, it's like they're pretty. You got to get the Italian ones too, otherwise they taste a little metallic.
Well, that's you know what you can get from eating pine nuts, right, Ian?
Oh boy, here we go.
You
Go
ever
ahead.
had this happen? I don't know what
Is
it
this
is.
a joke or is this
No,
this
this is
oh,
real.
okay.
Like
Oh.
there's pine nuts can do something where all you can taste is like metal for days after you eat it.
Oh, I've eating pine nuts can cause a temporary unpleasant condition called pine mouth.
That's it.
Or pine nut syndrome, which leads to strong, bitter, or metallic taste. Oh, maybe it isn't the pine nuts then that I'm tasting metallic.
No, that
Some of 'em-
that it's like a chemical. I don't know what the hell it is. Glyphosate.
Glyphosate. It's the caffeine in my glyphosate.
My glasses.
My glasses. All right.
All right. So apparently, people just want to talk about Star Trek on
All right,
here.
talk about Star Trek. You could do AQ6.
I was just watching a video.
Oh.
It was hosted by Adam Savage.
Walnuts.
He was talking with a guy who spent like the last
Nuts?
20 years or something making a cutaway drawing of the Enterprise.
I saw
You've
it.
seen
I saw that.
I read about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I saw that.
I guess it's popping up.
Fantastic, right?
Yeah,
His take on it, it was really good. It was unconventional in terms of a cutaway, right? It was kind of.
I mean, it was the thing that surprised me is how few decks there were in that imagining of it. It makes the Enterprise seem a lot smaller than I thought it was.
And when
but I guess he must have had a reason for the scale.
Well, when they're in the elevator, the turbo lift, you see them going boo boo. But they
it's like
got
6 decks or something.
They got to talk. They got to.
Yeah, I know.
They have the plot happen, so it's like it's just like not that big.
Somebody said pistachios, and that sounds awesome. Actually, as a
pesto.
pesto.
Pistachios. I'll buy that.
Really good. I'm gonna do that.
D's nuts.
Right, buddy. Come on. Don't read.
Jesus Christ.
Grimbeard, ban yourself.
He's funny though.
Ban yourself. Parmesan. I gotta get some parmesan.
That guy put a lot of Easter eggs in there too, which I thought was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, it's science fiction. Like they make the ship look cool. They're not like there's no consideration for size and all that stuff. They don't, maybe
it's interesting. I mean, the Enterprise, the whole chain of classes of ships are gorgeous. I love just the look of them. Every time I see them, like that's especially some newer versions that are still keep the basic shape of the ship,
design,
but add artistic
it's
details.
So versatile. Who was the guy that
it's
designed
a gorgeous
it? Was
ship.
It Jeffries? Was it Matt Jeffries who actually designed the first layout of the ship?
Maybe.
It might have been Jeffries.
But they're completely impractical from an actual structural point of view. Actually, I think like one of the best designed ships from a structural point of view is a Star Destroyer.
Mhm.
It's a wedge.
Yeah.
That's if I were going to design a ship, I would design it. But the only difference I would make is the decks would go this way, not this way, right?
Unless you have anti-gravity.
So that but even still, even if you do have anti-gravity, why not work with acceleration rather than, why would you accelerate perpendicular to the direction you're standing
I
in?
know, but it's got
Gravity plating just changes everything. I mean,
Okay, but even still, because why would you accelerate this way when you could?
Because it's irrelevant at that point.
It's not irrelevant because
it depends on what
gravity
kind of
plating
travel.
must use a lot of energy, and if you're accelerating at 1G, you could turn off your gravity plating and save a shit ton of energy.
Yeah, but if you don't have any FTL, then that makes more sense what you're saying. But if you've got FTL, then you don't even have to worry
you
about.
still have to zip around within solar systems and stuff. You still are not 100% on FTL.
Not 100%, but damn close to it.
I don't know.
Oh, I like the
There's just no reason for it. There's no advantage to having to standing upright on a ship.
Right.
You should be standing with your feet
it's
towards
a
the engine.
holdover from the sailing ships.
I know.
Right? We
This
know
has
that.
bothered Steve for a very long time.
It bothers me a lot.
But I mean, I think you could make a better argument, Steve, for Star Trek ships with a primary hull that's wedge shaped, more wedge shaped,
Yeah.
and the nacelles are integrated into the secondary
Yes.
hull, where there's not those long, stupid struts.
Mhm.
That makes much more sense.
Don't-
And they're good looking too.
Don't go to Star Wars for good hard science fiction because it's garbage.
No, but they have great ship design.
They have cool, yeah, they're very cool, but they don't, they're not. It's not about that,
Jay, where could you
It's
go?
always
if you wanted
about
to-
that, Jay.
Where
Anybody
could you
play
go if
Eve?
you
I
wanted to
never
learn about
played
hard
Eve.
science, soft science, whoppers, or gimmies?
Yeah, we have
All
a show.
women shatters
There's a
have
whole
left
show
their
that
room.
most of you probably don't even know about.
Most of you.
It's called Alpha Quadrant 6. It's our
What?
science
I've
fiction
heard of that
review
show.
show. Yeah. We have three. We're in our third season. The first season was about Star Trek. The second season was about movie reviews, and the third season is about us talking about the science in science fiction movies with some reviews mixed in. And there's Steve Blackwell.
Hello.
Stevie!
Okay.
Bird of Prey is just insane.
The
AlphaQuadrant6.com, Ian.
Yeah.
There you go. It's
But
also
such a
it's on
pretty
YouTube
ship,
as well.
Steve.
Who is this guy right here? Who is this guy right here?
All right. So
Expanse, of course,
Expanse is
kicked
the
ass.
bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a very, very good show.
Me
All right, we're gonna
fantasy,
move
yeah.
on to some tickety talks. So I believe
All
that
right.
is it. You got any thing you want to pique people's interest for the upcoming episode that you're recording tomorrow?
Nope.
Oh my
Alright.
God, Steve!
No
this guy
secrets.
lives 40 minutes.
40
from-
minutes?
from the Star Trek
Damn.
Museum in Ticonderoga. I want to go again.
Yeah, we should go again.
Let's just do it. Let's,
Well, wait. They're getting close to being done with the next gen bridge, right?
Yeah.
And set.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the milestone we're
Sharon.
waiting for, right? When that's done.
What bridge do you prefer, Classic Trek or
Classic.
Next Gen?
classic.
Well, I've been on both. I
Yeah, as have I.
So
was
answer
on-
the question.
Classic, of course. That was a spiritual experience.
All right, but there are two things about the next gen bridge that I like better. And that I do think
soda machine.
There's two things. So there's a ready room off the bridge. There needs to be a ready room. There's no ready room
Absolutely.
off, right? And I do think that you need to have a seat for the first officer next to the captain.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, because
Spock was the first.
But he was also science officer.
But he was also
he was at the science officer's station.
And when he wasn't, he was standing next to the to Captain.
But it is
Kirk.
cool visually.
Well, I think Spock should.
I think the Voyager had the best layout.
Voyager, yeah.
That was sort of the best.
Maybe.
It was like the original series bridge, but had a first officer seat and had a ready room. So that's like the best iteration of it.
I think Spock should have sat on Kirk's lap. That
Yeah,
would have been his seat.
Well, they should shrink him down in the transporter to like a 5-year-old size.
Yes. Did you guys hear that?
Put him in his pocket.
Shatner, Spiner, Takei.
Yep.
Takei, right? And
Yep.
Frakes were just there. Ticonderoga. Ah!
That's pretty cool.
I'm torn.
That must have been crazy.
I wanted to go. I've been wanting to go when Shatner's there.
Shatner.
But I've been to Star Trek conventions, and I don't know if I want to go when Shatner's there.
Yeah, man,
it's tough, right? Come on.
I mean,
come on,
I've
come
seen
on.
him. I mean, the last time I saw him, he was on stage with Patrick Stewart.
Oh, that
and
was
it was
fantastic.
the captains.
That was so much fun.
They were on stage talking, and that was just how do you top that? Plus, I think it might be sad to see him. He's what, 90?
Yeah, he's 90.
That's crazy.
He still looks great, Bob. He's still good.
Looks surprisingly good. But I'm telling you, that's why.
Well, there's another reason not to go when they're having an event like that.
It's too crazy.
It's too crowded. Like when we went,
we had
on a
that
weekday
set almost to ourselves.
Yeah, we went on a tour by
If
ourselves.
we're gonna go again, we should do an episode there.
Yeah, I did talk to James, the guy that owns and runs it. And he was hot and cold. You know, he's a busy guy, and
fuck him.
No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. You know,
All right, but then he's got to let us do an episode there.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
If we could do it anywhere we want, where would it be?
I mean, I would do it there.
But no, where on the set?
Oh, where on the set? On the bridge. What are you talking
Wow,
about?
see, that's the problem. It's not practical. Where
Well, Steve,
Of course it is. It's designed to be a film set.
Steve loves it because he'd be in the captain's chair, and you and I would be at the.
And there's
helm
no
and
first
navigation.
officer's chair.
Well, how would we do a podcast sitting all around the bridge?
Next gen bridge. Boom, boom, boom.
I don't know the classic, but I like the classic Trek bridge better.
too.
Yeah.
See, what you really
Three
want.
seats. There's three
Steve,
seats.
This is something that we should talk to
Yeah.
James about, and I'm dead serious.
Yes.
They need to have role-playing events on that set.
Of course they should. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But we would be doing a live stream, not just a recording an audio episode.
Yeah,
we would
like
do a
we
video
walking
live
around
stream from the bridge.
Like
and
we
we could do different parts of the
Oh
ship.
my
But I
God,
think
we should dress up
our
Ian
base
as one of
our-
the aliens.
What?
Yeah.
And then we will chase him
the salt
around
sucker.
the ship.
Ian's the salt sucker.
There
I can
it
be a
is.
Wookiee.
Yeah, that's true.
Fuck you, Ian.
All right, Steve. Somebody mentioned the puppet episode of Strange New Worlds.
Fuck
Jay and I
Strange New
haven't seen it
Worlds.
yet. Steve has seen that episode.
Not watching
and
that show
Steve was
anymore.
kind of mad.
There's a main.
meh.
You want me to tell you the big spoiler or no?
No, don't tell me the
All
fucking
right.
spoiler.
They can't talk about it then.
All right,
But
don't talk about
you
it.
can't.
It was
give a react-
cutesy and it was meh.
So Sir Johnny
Not like
Rose,
the
how
Angel
often?
puppet
You know, make
episode.
an interstitial
often do you go to the
YouTube
museum?
video or something where you do the puppet things. You have to burn a whole episode of
Guys,
Strange
the
New Worlds with a
show is
fucking
shit.
puppet
The
episode.
show is shit. It's gone. Just forget it. Never talk about it again. It's garbage. They fucked it up. It was a great premise. It was a fantastic premise, and they blew it.
The tickets to get 500 per person.
Someone said if the SGU crew were the crew of the Enterprise, who would have what roles?
Let's see. I don't know.
Okay, you decide, Steve. You'd be Captain Kirk, wouldn't you, or would you be Spock?
Well, I mean, are we playing people or just positions? I think I interpret that as just positions.
Well, if we go with historically, Jay was Spock, I was Kirk, and you were McCoy.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you want to go with history,
but if we're
that's
just doing
we
like
actually
what would
played.
our position on the bridge be? Not like what character would be, playing. On the podcast, I would be the captain. You would be the first officer. You would be the science officer. Jay would be at the helm. Kara would be the communications officer.
That
And
that's how we did it.
That's defendable.
Yeah.
Can I be Scotty?
Just
Ian
don't-
would be Scotty, who only
Gotta
hear
do
his
the
voice from
accent.
engineering.
I could never be Captain Kirk.
She's got Captain.
Can't make me Captain Kirk because all I would say is there's some
O'Hara?
thing on the wing.
Yeah.
As I said, you're not Captain Kirk. It would be the captain, the first officer, the science officer, the communications officer, helm, weapons.
Yeah.
What are some other stations there? And then some disembodied voice from engineering.
And who would play the computer?
Who would play the computer? That's a good question.
Bloop.
I don't know. Get my
Sagan.
wife to do it. Get one of our
Sagan
wives
be
to
the
do it.
computer.
How about Kelly?
Kelly should
Sure.
be the computer. Kelly the computer.
Oh, I got to email her. Damn it.
Well, this was fun, guys. Thanks
Okay.
for
Yeah, we're done.
allowing us to geek out on Star Trek a little bit because I have to tell you, and I'm dead serious about
Oh,
this.
Lord. Here we go.
We could do this for hours.
Oh,
Just sit here and talk about Star Trek. It's a never-ending conversation.
24 hours. That may or may not be a goal on the patron. To become a patron.
How close are we getting to the
I don't-
24-hour show?
I don't know. I don't think we're there.
Ian,
It's
Tomorrow?
Don't yell at me.
Can you look really
I've
quick?
looked it up recently. We we're
We don't have that many paying patrons.
yeah, we have a lot of non-paying patrons.
It only the paying patrons count towards meeting the
That's
goal.
right.
I mean, that's what we made.
So if you want to see a 24-hour SGU live stream, which may or
all
may
the
not be
things.
from this bridge of
Could
the
you imagine?
Enterprise,
That's a big statement you just
That's a
said
big
there.
statement.
then you have to become a patron of the
May or may
SGU
not
and get your
apply to a
friends
lot
to
of
become
things.
patrons
That's
as well.
true. Tell your mother.
Yeah, who would George be?
Is there a roving minstrel? You know, like,
Who
no,
would
minstrel
George
show.
be?
Jesus.
I don't know. I think George.
Stepping off to Eden.
Yay, brother.
No.
Come on. Get the ears on him. No, he didn't have the ears.
No.
The main guy did.
Man,
I
the
mean-
chemistry between those three guys on the original. Oh God, it was so good. All right, goodbye, everybody.
All right, we're out
Have
of
a
here.
good week.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.
I know you're done too, Steve.
No.
No, I think
You're
we're gonna
saying
do
goodbye
a few
just
Right.
in general.
TikToks. A few
Goodbye.
I'm just
TikToks.
going with the flow.
Right.
All right, I'm still here.
Yeah, we have it labeled as 5,500, so we don't have that yet. Patrons, paying patrons. So become a patron.
I'm gonna go.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Why is this thing all of a sudden here? Because this space is taken up.
Union. Let me press the music. Oh wait, wrong music. This music. All right, we're getting set up over here. Just give it a second. Not sure how to spell it, but it's Whoopi. Oh, Whoopi's character. Steve, which ones did you want to do? I forget.
1 o'clock. The cancer one.
Cancer.
Yes. Send me your items.
Bye.
Um,
Was it just the one? Was it?
well, no, there's a couple. So
There
that
was
one. let me see
Thomas Seyfried.
Yeah, that
That's
one.
the guy. Seyfried.
Are you pissed off about?
And the glyphosate causes gluten sensitivity. One.
Oh, right.
Those two.
Those two.
We'll do those two.
All right, we'll do those two. That's good.
Are we doing this live stream next week?
No, I don't think we were going to do the
Doing
live stream.
AQ6 though.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll leave the gear here.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so no live stream, everybody, just in case next week, just because they're going to the Dragon Con,
DragonCon.
which you can still get tickets to, and also there's a private show down there.
Yes, we're doing a private show at DragonCon, which will feature a very special guest,
Ooh.
and you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of
Miss
fun.
it. You can't.
It's going to have two special guests. We're going to have Christian Hubicki
Oh, no, right.
and another special guest on that
All
show.
right.
Christian Hubicki.
Oh, biggie. Are we? You're gonna do a little starting script
Yes.
and then move into it. Okay, hold on. La 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 la. Hold on. Let me see if TikTok's being mean to me. Stop being mean to me. TikTok should allow content like mine. They're like, you're talking too much about the science and the blah blah blah. All right, here we go. Let me see. That is going. Okay, here we go. 3, 2.
So how effective is modern cancer treatment? Well, it's getting better all the time. Survival rates are increasing over the last 30 years. Survival rates, like the 5-year survival with cancer has increased significantly, and the mortality rate has decreased. Some cancers, many of the common cancers, thyroid cancer, for example, survival rates are like 97, 98% for 5-year survival. And that's because entirely that our treatments are getting better, right? We're getting the immunotherapies now for cancer are really kind of a game changer. They've made a significant improvement. But there is an entire industry of people who are still trying to scare the public, scare cancer patients away from modern scientific treatment so that they could sell you whatever snake oil they're trying to sell you. Let's listen to this guy.
This, because you do seem pissed off about this.
Well, who wouldn't be? Stephen, there's 1,700 people a day in this country dying from cancer. I don't know the English. Listen, that comes out to 70 an hour. And it gets worse every single year. And the last time I was on the show, you guys used some old data. Look it up today. It's 2026. American Cancer Society says this year in 2026, we will have 626,000 souls leave the planet from cancer. Okay? This 2026. And every year it gets worse. So when you hear all the breakthroughs, we have television ads in Boston for the cancer center. Breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. All these different, they come on. And all we do is get more dead cancer patients. Raise money for cancer. Where's the accountability for all the money you're raising? When is the people going to wake up? You don't make someone healthy by irradiating and poisoning them. You've got to understand the biology and the biochemistry of the disease. I have the concepts and the proofs. But the physician who works with the patient on a clinic basis, they're the ones that must apply this to the clinic. So there's two different things here. There's the hard science that's the bedrock for this, and then there's the clinical person who has the practice. So that practice does that. Together, you get great success, or better. I say success better than anything that's out there today.
The American Cancer Society recently released.
So what he's saying is deceptive. It's not really true. A couple of things to point out. So again, he's using statistics about the number of people with cancer as if that is telling us something about the effectiveness of cancer treatment. That's inherently deceptive. So either he's confused, he doesn't know how to think about medical data, which is shocking, or he is being intellectually dishonest there. As I said, cancer survival has been steadily improving as every time we introduce new treatments that are coming out. Because we're never going to find the cure for cancer. That's not really a plausible possibility. What we are finding are new ways to treat cancer, and every time we do that, then more people survive longer with cancer. But cancer rates are increasing, and why is that happening? The number one reason is because people are living longer. The number one risk factor for cancer is age. So as we have an aging population, more people are going to be dying of cancer because they're not dying younger of other things. Plus, the overall population is increasing, so you can't just use raw numbers, like the number of people. Yes, as the population increases, the number of people who get cancer are going to increase as well. There's also an artifact in there because we are getting better at diagnosing cancer earlier. And so that, as the age of diagnosis gets moved up, the number of people with cancer at any time or the number of new diagnoses will increase as well. And then there is a real increase in some types of cancer because of lifestyle problems, of demographic problems. So, for example, as obesity and diabetes increases, that's increasing certain cancer types. All right, so more people with cancer, more people dying with cancer. But if you have cancer, you're surviving longer and your risk of dying prematurely is lower because of treatments. So he is making an absolutely unjustified conclusion because he's looking at the wrong data that's not relevant to the conclusion that he's trying to draw from it. And why is he trying to draw this conclusion that, you can't burn or poison your way? Come on, how old is that canard? You can't burn or poison your way to health. Well, listen, when you're disease is a cancer, you can, because we're burning and poisoning the cancer, right? And it's done in a way specifically designed to minimize damage to healthy tissue. It's not zero. When you're dealing with cancer, you have to tolerate more side effects. That's just the nature of things. But they're always setting that up as a premise to saying, but here's my treatment, which does not cause whatever burning and poisoning or surgery. So he's pretending like he has some special knowledge, or he is like whatever. He knows more than cancer specialists, and he doesn't. He doesn't know what he's talking about clearly. The idea that you could be feeding a cancer is not new. That is not new. That idea is well known to people who treat cancer and to cancer specialists. And there are certain times when you might, for example, like we will tell patients, don't supplement this specific vitamin because that vitamin will feed your cancer or it will make the chemotherapy less effective. And sure, if you physically starve somebody, that will also starve the cancer, but there's a trade-off there as well. Just like there's a trade-off with chemotherapy, you're going to have some effects on healthy tissue. There's a trade-off with radiation therapy. There's going to be some effects on healthy tissue. There's a trade-off for starving people too. You're going to be starving healthy tissue as well. And medical treatment's all about risk versus benefit. And when we run the numbers and we say, well, yeah, you're better off making sure that somebody has overall good nutrition, maybe not supplement some specific vitamins that is a real limiting factor for certain types of cancer, but you don't want to starve a person as a way of treating their cancer. That is not a good idea. You want to make sure that they are maintaining their caloric intake, they are maintaining their nutrition as best as possible without feeding the cancer. That's already been optimized, evidence-based, science-based within standard of care cancer treatment. This guy has no idea what he's talking about, in my opinion. I wouldn't listen to him.
All righty.
Actually, heart disease is still the #1 killer, not cancer.
Wheat, 1990.
This is the next one. The next guy on the list.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Tell me when I'm ready.
All right, I'll count down. Here we go. 3, 2.
So what is the cause of gluten sensitivity or celiac disease? Celiac disease affects about 1%, 1 in 100 people. And it is essentially an allergy to a protein that is found in some wheat products, specifically gliadin. It's an autoimmune disease where you make antibodies to gliadin. And that's how the diagnosis is definitively made, by testing for those antibodies, although there's other ways to diagnose it as well. But this guy has kind of a weird theory as to what might be really going on. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Wheat, 1992, starts causing a massive allergy to gluten. And the gliadin compound in there interacts with glyphosate to synergistically fracture this metabolic capacity. We don't have gluten sensitivity. We have a metabolic collapse that's called glyphosate poisoning. I'll show you the peer-reviewed science we published from that. Within a couple of years of allergy, which is basically overwhelm of the immune system to your environment, you ultimately end up with autoimmune disease. This is where your body no longer can sense what's outside and what's inside, and your body becomes the enemy. So autoimmune disease is a steady destruction of your own body by your own immune system that can't tell it's you. You've lost cellular identity.
So what that guy just said is all nonsense. None of that is true. So there was a hypothesis, basically it's still at the hypothesis level that maybe because of the specific metabolic effects that glyphosate has on gut bacteria, right? That it changes the gut bacteria, changes which bacteria predominate in sort of the normal biome of your GI system, and that this can somehow have negative effects on people, and one of those being gluten sensitivity or having an autoimmune disease against gliadin, but it's been researched, and guess what? There's zero evidence for that, right? So first of all, there's no correlation between glyphosate exposure and risk of celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, right? So you don't even get on to first base with this idea. This hypothesis failed at step 1. There's no correlation there. There's also no clinical data to show that in people that any of the things that he's saying is happening is actually happening, or that this is the actual cause of celiac disease. It isn't. It's an autoimmune disease. It's not your immune system being overwhelmed, or it's not any metabolic problem. And there's no evidence to connect glyphosate with it whatsoever. He is essentially just extrapolating from some preliminary basic science, animal data, and extrapolating that well beyond the data, well beyond what the evidence shows, extrapolating it to people, making up steps, basically skipping over 5-10 steps scientifically, and then stating these as if they are firm conclusions when they're basically disproven hypotheses. So not a reliable source of information.
All righty, we did it. Gluten.
Save the world again.
I can't believe it. Gluten, glyphosate, or something. It was a glyphosate heavy day.
Yeah.
Or somewhat. Gluten, glyphosate.
That's just the boogeyman now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like back again. It's crazy. It won't go away, even though it technically did in certain products. Anyway, all right, I think that's it. So next week, like I said, no Wednesday live.
We're off next
stream.
week. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yep.
But we'll be at Dragon Con. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So come through.
If you're anywhere near Atlanta, come see us.
Definitely.
You don't have to have a Dragon Con ticket to see us at the private
That's
show.
true.
It's a completely separate ticketed event. You just buy like any SGU event.
Yeah, it's on the
but
website.
if you are at Dragon Con, we're going to be on a ton of panels. We're also going to have an SGU live show. It's going to be a short show, but it'll be a live show on the Skeptic track. We're doing a bunch of panels with Christian Hubicki. We're doing other panels as well. They're going to keep us busy.
Oh yeah,
but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Stuff. So yeah, check that out. It's available on theskepticsguide.org. Become a patron at patreon.com/skepticsguide. Listen to the show, which comes out on Saturday for the public and should come out Friday for the patrons.
Yes, it's been for the last year since I retired. It's very consistently been coming out on Friday for
the time
patrons.
to do it. There's a new PR podcast that's going to be on Patreon posted today, so check that out. Which is Political Reality, if you're not familiar with Andrea Jones-Roy. And it's over. I think that's it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ian.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.